Alrighty. Um, Welcome again, guys. And this is the second part about UVs. I brought with me two cases in this moment in this time. So I brought a draw desk and I brought a glass container for candies or for food with this pressure metal stuff in here. So we're gonna have some small review with the tools that we already seen in the previous tutorial. So we're gonna have like a school review and things like that, guys. And for me, it's really important just to make a review, but we're gonna reinforce a lot of the tools that we saw yesterday because it's really important just to make you understand some of the basics um, with the UV process. So I'm gonna delete the materials that we already have in here. I'm gonna assign a I'm gonna put G of general underscore M, and then I'm gonna just assign it to the rest of the pieces. I'm gonna just click. Let me just show you guys because sometimes it's a little bit frustrating that some people is just requesting me um, to show you what I am clicking right now. First of all, and before everything. So first of all, guys, just to make you understand, is that um, I have already customized my Blender. So you're gonna see some um, things, and you're gonna be disagreed with some shortcuts, and you're gonna say, so I don't have that shortcut in my Blender. So it's because I already customized, because most of my shortcuts or hotkeys I handle them in my left side of my keyboard, and I try to optimize my processes in these kind of situations. So I'm gonna apply my screencast keys and I'm gonna just start just doing something that, let me see, I don't know, it's not uh, I don't know why it's not working. Is sometimes I have, yeah, there you go, guys, there you go. So let's just back to business. And yeah, so as you can see here, I have this general material. I'm just gonna apply the rest of the materials with this guy, and I'm gonna click Ctrl L, and then I'm gonna link the material. So first of all, I'm gonna just kill all these materials that we don't need for these guys, because I just want to show you how the UVs behave with the quads and the crosses, if they get stretched, or when can we have some stretch in there. So let's just delete these guys in here, and let me just perk in here. Let's just delete this guy. Okay, he delete for data in here, so let's just, okay, yeah, it's not deleting these guys. Let me just be sure that I have already deleted everything in here. So this is another one. This is like the plastic, the rubber that we have in there for some of the labels. So first of all, guys, I'm going directly to the container, to the glass container with the pressurist stuff in there. So first of all, guys, mainly it's not 100% a rule, but I really suggest when you start just unwrapping things and UV mapped things, just select everything. Be sure that all your transformations, scales, and rotations are reset. So in this case, for example, in Blender is Ctrl A, and it's gonna ask you if you want to reset and restart or reset the transformations. I'm gonna click apply all. It means that it's gonna apply all the transformations with location, rotation, scale. So let's just click in here, and then it's going to exactly to the center of the universe in here. So let's just back to the business. So this is one of the first rules. Please always reset your settings for transformations. Try to be sure 100% that you don't have any um, excess materials, textures, and things like that, because UV map is a previous step before texturing it or surfacing. So one of the things that I want to comment in the previous tutorial is that UV map is really important in many different steps. One of the most important steps is texturing. The second one is surfacing. The third one is, if you want to make changes, small changes, and you don't want to go back to Mari or Substance Painter or things like that, you need to understand that um, in Photoshop or Affinity Photo or Image Editor, you're gonna be able just to change things or clone things directly to the map, to the PBR or things like that. But if you don't have UVs, you will not be able to do that. The four things that is very important. This is something very technical, but I wanna just share it with you because many people doesn't take care or don't care about it. There are softwares outside, commercial softwares like Maya or 3 Studio Max or other softwares. I haven't figured out in Blender, but in Maya, because I'm an authorized training already trained person in Maya. So in Maya, when you are in rigging department or skinning department, so what's happening there? So you are just adding influence and adding weight paint to each um, flexible area, like joints, like the elbow, fingers, and things like that, neck, blah blah blah. So what happened in there? So there's we're gonna collect a lot of information in there with different colors, with temperature colors, with um, from blue to red. So what happened in there? So I mean green to red. What happened in there? So you can collect that information also outside with a map. What what is the useful thing in that situation? So sometimes you get some files or things like that corrupted by outage electricity at home or some technical problems with your files, but you already have, for example, your objs in your library for saving um, Soldier Ryan in these situations. And if you save that weight map in a JPEG or TIFF or any other format in Maya, so you can collect that information and then you can just reapply that skinning weight back to the model. So that's one of the main reasons, because UVs are very important because they can collect and compact a lot of information for many things. Also, UVs are very important for simulation departments because sometimes uh, the VFX guys, they're gonna collect the UV information for position map, for UV map pass, for normal map, and if you have your UVs in the right way, so they can be able just to start making effects like unskinning or unpeeling fruits, or you can create a lot of effects with so much control in there. So don't take UVs as your enemy, because UVs are gonna be your friend in many different ways. So let's just back to the business again. And okay, first of all, we need to understand one thing. We need to analyze what we have in the scene. So we have some different shapes in here, like some cylinders like this guy. We have the cap in here. We have some like ring designs like this, like this, like this. We have some internal pressure stuff in there that is just gonna make it pressurized. to avoid wet getting inside of the food. So most of these shapes are cylinders, and sometimes they are like rings, like torus. So first of all, we're going one by one, and I'm gonna start just explaining with this container, this glass container. So first of all, I don't like to UV map things um, in high resolution. Why I don't like it? Because they are very heavy, and the cache memories, you're gonna rip your memory cache in here. So always guys, always UV map in low resolution, because you're gonna see the real distortions, the real shape of the object. So I'm gonna just hide my grid and my axis, because I already can see which axis I'm working on. So we need to analyze. So this is a cylinder. So where can we cut? So as we saw in the previous one, so we can just start cutting in here, because we don't have three lines in here, or you can cut in here, that's not a big deal. But in my case, I would prefer just to cut in here. I'm just gonna click Mark Sim in here, and then I'm gonna make some cuts in the top. I'm just gonna start just cutting these guys. First of all, I have a small mistake in here, so I'm gonna add another line in there, and that's it. And then I'm gonna apply my Mark Sim, because in order just to have 1, 2, and 3 lines in here, so this is gonna be my support line in here. So I'm gonna make a cut in there, and then I'm just gonna make another cut in here, because I have this one, and this is gonna be my cut line in there. So we have our cuts in there, and also we cannot forget to cut our stuff in here. So let's just make a cut in here, and then Mark Sim. And then, because we have a cylinder shape in here, so what can we do in here? Don't worry about this, because this is the clipping of the camera. So if I get very close, it's gonna disappear. So don't worry about that. So what are we gonna do in this situation? So we need to split this container, so this section in here, like a label of a product, because we're gonna be able to have a rectangle to put like some trademarks, logos, information, or things like that. So we're gonna make a cut in here. So let's just go by the axis. So we're gonna make a cut, start cutting in here like this, and then we're just gonna make a cut just from one side. We don't need the other side. Let's just unselect this. Let's just unselect these guys in here with the brush selection, and let's just be sure that we don't have selection with this guy here, and also with the other guy. So let's just be sure that's it. So let's just make these cuts in here, and then we're gonna just open this guy with the unwrap. So as you can see here, we don't have any information with the UVs. We only have a bunch of quads just overlapping each other. So this is not good for texturing, because if you try to texture this, you're gonna overlap all the textures around the piece. So let's just unwrap this guy, and let's see what we have. Unwrap. So as you can see here, we have a pretty nice and good result. Personally, many people say you're very perfectionist. It's not about to be perfectionist, guys. It's in production, you need to make the texture artist's life easier than yours, is our goal. So in this situation, for example, first rule, I'm gonna try to rotate everything just in my personal opinion, rotate 90 degrees. I want to have everything horizontal, because I'm gonna be able just to stamp anything anything I want in here or in here, in case that I just use Affinity Photo or Photoshop. So first of all, I'm gonna show you some new tools, and I'm gonna explain you where how can I use it. So first of all, we have some new tools that I've been using with um, that I found on internet and some community. So first of all, I'm gonna click N and I'm gonna just release this menu in here, and then as you can see here, we have image, we have tool, we can lock the borders of the UVs, we can sculpt all every island in here. Let's just click T to see the basic tools for editing all our UVs. We have the view, and then I'm gonna show you a bunch of add-ons that I collect, and some of them I bought them, but I'm gonna show you some of them. So first of all, a long time ago I bought this UV toolkit. UV toolkit is a really nice add-on. I bought this for $12 a long time ago. Um, the development has been stopped of this tool, but this tool is still on function, and it has really amazing tools for relaxing, unwrapping, and many other stuff. For example, if we want to make straight some of these UVs in here, for example, let's just click this loop in here and then straighten island. We can make something like this. Let's just change into vertex in here. For example, let's just imagine not this one, but for example this one in the center. Let's just click straighten island. This is like if I were using leave and grab and pin and outer line at the same time, but this is only with one click. This is really good. I really love this tool. We also have some other tools in here. For example, I can select all my shell in here and then straighten UVs, and this is gonna straighten my UVs like the Follow Active Quads. So this is really cool add-on, and I really would like to have my UVs like this because I'm gonna use and I'm gonna take advantage of the resolution in here. I'm gonna do exactly the same with this guy, and I'm gonna say straighten UVs. Also with this, I'm gonna click 1 and then L with the mouse over the shell, then straighten UVs, and then I'm gonna select everything and I'm gonna click Control A. Control A is gonna precise the average of the scale between islands. They're gonna become 1:1 measure. So then I'm gonna just pack everything inside in a more proper way. I'm gonna click Control P. I'm gonna uncheck rotation because I don't want to rotate. I don't want to rotate any of my UV shells, and then I'm gonna apply like 0.05 of margin of error between the shells, and then there you go, guys. So we have this. If we're gonna send this to video games, we can make some tricks at some point, but this is more than enough. We have more freedom to make more distortions for the UVs to collect and pack things. If we were in for example in a TV show or film, so you can just split your UVs across the two UDIMs, for example something like this, and then just dot to the cursor is gonna scale from here to here, and then we can just scale a little bit more and then just apply, for example, this guy in here and this guy in here, and then we can use more resolution just in one shell for one of the pieces, and the other pieces are gonna be practically in the other UDIM, and then you can just share that space with other pieces that you model for this practically for these containers. So let's just bring back these guys, and let's just ungrab the rest of the things. Let's just go for something a little bit more basic. For example, something like this. We already have some information in here, so I'm gonna just select this. I'm gonna click the support line in the middle, and I'm gonna apply the mark seam. I'm gonna select this, and then I'm gonna just ungrab. and we're gonna have something like this. So this is gonna be pretty cool, guys, because we're gonna have some space for this piece with the rest of the container. So for example, let's just click this and click this, multi-click, and then we're gonna have something like this. Let's just precise the textile density, Control A. Then we can just adjust with individual origins, something like this. And there you go, we already fixed our stuff. And we're gonna just start just moving things in here to use a little bit more of the space. You can see that we have enough space for more pieces in here. Let's just start just unwrapping things. Let's just hide these guys because they're already UV mapped. Let's go for the cap in here, and it's gonna be exactly the same process. So as you can see here, the cap has like some volumetric inside. It has an inner design in here. So let's just click in here because this is my middle line. Let's just click mark seams. Let's just unwrap this guy and let's see how it behaves. So we have this. This is really cool. We are having everything in here. Another tip that I'm gonna give you guys. First of all, when you have multiple things, a lot of things to unwrap, I would suggest you to unwrap everything first, and at the end of the day, just take everything. Let's imagine that we're already finished. Let's just take everything, Control A, and then start just propagating your UV shells between these 2 or 4 or 3 UDIMs in here. Or even though if you wanna just use just one UDIM because it's gonna be 4 games, let's just pack these guys and then just in there. So as you can see here, we have a nice and dandy situation in here. So we have some big spaces in there. We can just start reducing the space in here like 0.025 and then pack it. So we are using a little bit more of resolution. So this is really cool. And we have everything organized because we have all the round shapes in here and we have the rectangle shapes in horizontal. So you already know what is everything in here. So I'm gonna hide these guys and then I'm gonna just move to this plastic shape that is like the label for expire date or things like that. Let's just mark the seam in here, and then we're gonna I'm gonna select this line in here because I wanna make a cut in the middle, and then I'm gonna mark the seam, and then I'm gonna just oh, it's not the middle. Let's just move it here. So okay, so the middle is gonna be this one, this guy here. So let's just mark the seam and then select everything and see how it opens and how unwrap is in here. So we have this. At this moment this is nice and dandy, guys, but I really would like to have more control with this guy. So I'm gonna just make another cut in the middle in here. In this case I really would like to have 2 different shells because I'm gonna have more control. So let's just mark the seam, and again let's just unwrap, and we're gonna have something like this. So let's just go back in time. So as I show you before, so we already have some new tools in here that I show you at the beginning of the tutorial. So we have something like this, like straighten island. So how does this work? Just select the loop and then straighten island, and there you go. You have this. Do exactly the same for the other guy, and there you go, guys. So this is really nice and dandy. So let's just rotate this guy in horizontal. You can use these tools too, and it's gonna help you pretty nice, like Control P, something like this, just in order just to have some to avoid having a mess in here. Yeah, I like to have everything clean and nice and dandy. So let's just reappear everything in here and see how the things are gonna behave with the texture that I showed you in the previous tutorial. Let's just click new. Let's just click in here like UV grid, and we're gonna call it test grid quads. That's it. Let's just make it like this, and we're gonna click in here textures. So we're gonna be able to see things that we UV unwrapped. So don't worry about these lines in here. So we're gonna make another test for this, because you have to take in mind when you are working with this, at the end of the day you need to see this subdivide. So if you apply the subdivision surface, take a look how this is behaving right now. So it's working really nice and dandy. So what's going on in some areas like this is because the cut is in here, but we can change how the UVs are smooth. Let's just change it to corners, and boom, there you go, guys. This is because keep boundaries is for video games, and keep corners are for film and TV production, because we're gonna subdivide things in there. In video games, most of the time we do not subdivide. There's a new option in Unreal Engine that you can subdivide things, but it's a physical subdividing, so you cannot go back to zero subdivisions. So let's just keep the corners, and we're gonna maintain all the distortions properly. So let's just keep doing the rest of the things. Let's just go for this guy in here. Let's just analyze what we have in here. Let's just go back to the normal visualization in here. So as you can see here, we have a big torus, like a ring, and we have some cylinders going around. Let's just click one that the camera will not be able to see here. Let's just make a cut, and then let's just make a cut in the back, in the center. And I'm gonna give you a good advice. First of all, the criteria for making cuts or making seams in here is on you guys, but most of the time, if you have a Substance Painter or Mari, or even though Blender has pretty nice painting tools now, so you can just correct all the errors that the seams are going to produce. So as more seams you have, more shells you will have too. So what happened in there, so you're gonna have a little bit more work, but also you're gonna have more control, because you're gonna separate all the things that you don't need in some specific areas. So in this case, I'm gonna make a cut in there, and I'm gonna make another cut in there. I'm gonna apply the mark seam, and then I'm gonna just unwrap this guy, and then I'm gonna just correct everything. So I'm gonna apply my tool that I already show you in here, that we have here in the unwrap section for the UV toolkit. So we have this one, we have straightening UVs. So let's just click with your cursor in here, L, and then we're gonna straighten UVs. So boom, we already have this. Let's just Control A to regulate our scales, and take a look. We're gonna see really nice and dandy UVs in here. This is really awesome. This is the cut, don't worry, and this is the cut, don't worry. It's because they're just going along the coordinates. So this is really good UVs in here. Let's just go for the rest of the things. Let's just go for this guy. Okay, no, we already have, yeah, we already have this guy. This is done. Let's just click this guy. Let's just go for this. So it's exactly the same process, but we're gonna make a cut in here and also in here, and then we're gonna make a cut in the middle. Let's just make our cuts like this, something like this. Let's avoid also the cuts in here and also here, and let's just mark the seams. Let's just UV unwrap. We have this, and we're gonna select this shell, also this one, and a shortcut to call this guy in here is Shift Q. As you can see here is Shift Q, and voila, we already have these guys. Let's just rotate it 90 degrees. Let's just pack it just to have some a specific order. Let's just put some threshold in here to have some space between them, and yeah, let's just go back. Let's just finish this guy. Exactly the same process, but in this case, because we have different shapes in here, if you wanna use more space, because let's just think about these guys. These rings are gonna be metallic rings or chrome rings, so we don't have to spend so much time on texturing. If the client says something completely opposite, just take in mind you have Substance Painter, you have Mari, where you can use triplanar things. So we're gonna make exactly the same way. We're gonna click in here, mark the seam, we're gonna click in here, and we're gonna make a click in, let's just make a click in here. Yeah, look, another cut in there. I prefer to have those two seams, because if I have something extremely large, I'm gonna have so much trouble at the end of the day when I start texturing. Let's just click straight in UVs, Control A, Control P. There you go. And let's just spear again these guys. Let's just see how we are going in the process. The head ups. Let's just click this guy here. I think this is the last guy that we need to UV map. So let's just make a cut in here. Let's just make a cut in here, because we have 1, 2, 3. So this is alright, and we're gonna make exactly the same process. Let's just click the middle line in here, and let's just deselect and uncheck these guys in here. We don't need these mark seams in here, so don't worry. Let's just click mark seams. Let's just ungrab these guys, and then we're gonna pack it. So we have this guy, we have this guy. Straighten UVs. Let's just rotate these guys 90 degrees. Control A, Control P. Let's just pack it. And then we're gonna just show everything in here. So don't pay attention about the draw desk. So we already have everything UV mapping here, but we have inconsistent UVs and textile density. That's because we have different scales on the UVs in here. In order just to regulate everything, let's just select first of all everything in here. Let's just go to edit mode, select everything, and then we're gonna just start just working. I would change the rotation of these guys. I'm just gonna change it 90 degrees, and then let's just change medium point. So let's just start Control A, and then Control P, then pack it. So we are gonna have something like this. So what's going on in here? So we can take the decision just to have these guys in, like these guys that we have in 90 degrees. We can just rotate these guys like this in horizontal, in order just to have all the rectangle islands just in one direction. Let's just click everything, Control A, Control P, and we're gonna reduce the margin or the padding in here, 0.025. Let's just click pack. Let's see what we have. So this is really nice and dandy. I really like this, and for video games, this is at some point this is pretty good. It doesn't matter. So some of the supervisor is gonna tell you you have a lot of space in there. Yeah, possibly, but just remember, in video games, sometimes or most of the time, we separate glass and metallic in different shaders. So the electric and non-dielectric we separate into different materials. So we can separate possibly the UVs for one material for the glass, and for the other guys for the non-dielectric or the opaque or diffuse materials. We can have another material. So in this case I don't care, but I'm gonna show you next, for example, how can we just start propagating all of these by hand, because in my personal opinion I prefer to have control everything in two different UDIMs. So what are we gonna do? First of all, first search for the biggest shell, is this guy in here, as you can see here. So let's just go to the cursor and then scale this guy like this, and then we're gonna just start just putting different positions. We're gonna use different how to say, we're gonna use this in a different way. For example, all the large pieces are gonna be in here in this section. This is alright. That's something that it doesn't take my breath. So what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna separate all the small pieces, and then I'm gonna collect everything, the rest of the things in this section in here. I'm gonna put my 2D cursor in there. I'm gonna click Ctrl A, Ctrl P, and then I'm gonna just pack it into the active UDIM. So then it's gonna pack everything in here. So let's just regulate everything. Ctrl A. So as you can see here, it didn't change at all. This is really good news. As you can see, it's a minimum change. So you can have into UDIMs this, and actually for the new generation games, for example in Unreal, you can have UDIMs. I haven't figured it out in Unity, but in Unreal you can have UDIMs. So you can have these two UDIMs in here, and this is gonna be really nice for to have more resolution. For example, in order just if you want to have, for example, 4K for each one, that I wouldn't recommend. You can just split the resolution and gather all the information that you already have. For example, in order just to use 4K, you can split the 4K in 2K. For example, 2K for the glass and 2K for the non-dielectric materials. So this is optimizing space. And also, as you can see here, we have so much order in our UVs, because we have in a horizontal way all the rectangle UV islands, and the rest of the things are gonna be circular, so it doesn't matter. So we already have everything in order. So I would recommend that these pieces, for example, just try to make them like this, the cross, like verticals, horizontals, just like that, just to have a little bit more order. So let's just rotate this guy here. Let's just rotate this guy here, just to be to have more easy way to texture these guys in Substance Painter or here. Let's go. So we have this, and this is for the containers. So as you can see here, all the quads and all the dimensions, the crosses, the crosses that we already have in here in the texture, as you can see, the scale of this cross is exactly the same like this one. So this one is exactly the same like this one. So we have very organic, and we have nice proportions in there. So don't worry about this guy, because we have a distortion in here, so it means that it's working right now. So let's just add the subdivision surface to the rest of these guys to see the final result. Let's just see, is just copy the modifiers and let's just see. So as you can see here, everything right now is just going nice and dandy. So this is propagating along the distortions of the model, really nice and dandy. So this cross is exactly the same like these guys, so don't worry about these guys, because these guys has a distortion in there because there's some model in there. So everything is just going nice and flow. it works. And let's just go for the other option. Let's just go for the desk. In this case, for the desk, I already split everything by pieces because I brought this obj just in one piece, so everything has been renamed by the computer. So we're going piece by piece to in here. For example, this desk already has UVs in here. So let's just kill the UVs in here. But let me show you first. As you can see, all the UVs has exactly the same measures, the same scales. Don't worry about this because this is the cut of the line. I will not unwrap all the desk. I will just unwrap the half of this because the UVs for these guys are gonna be exactly the same like this guy, so don't worry. So I'm just gonna UV map the half of this. So we're gonna rip the UV information from this desk. Let's just click U in edit mode. Let's just click U and reset all the UV information here like we have in here. We don't have nothing right now, so let's just do that. We're gonna start from here. It's a very easy piece, but you have to go step by step. So as you can see here, we have some support lines in here, so I would make a cut in there, and also I would do it in the other side. So let's just start doing this. Mark seams, and we're gonna make cut in here. Let's just make this guy like this. Let's just click dot of your calculator to zoom in to the selection. Let's just click these guys, and we're gonna do exactly the same stuff for each corner because we want to have control with this. Let's just make a cut in here, also here. Let's just go back to the other corner in here, the last one, and okay, so I want to make a very special point in here. First of all, as you can see here in the model, we have some gap in here, model in here. For example, let's just imagine you have different kind of wood inside of this gap, like a darker wood in there, and outside you have something, a lighter wood. So in this case, if you want to have control, if you don't want to spend time just painting manually, just make a cut in here. So we already have some middle line in there, so let's just make a mark seam, and we're gonna separate this section because we can just use this island completely separate because it's gonna be easier to texture. So let's just click everything, and we're gonna ungrab this guy. Let's see what we have in here. So we have this information. So at the end of the day, we have some very useful information with this, and I'm gonna give you another tip. For example, this guy in here is the guy that we have in the top, is this shell in here. So we can cut that guy in order just to merge these islands that we already have in here. Like this guy, we can merge it with this guy can be merged with this, and then we can optimize spaces with the UVs. So this is a pretty good technique. It's a basic technique, but at the same time is something that beginners doesn't take in mind because they say, oh, I didn't think about something pretty easy that is gonna make my life easier. So let's just make a cut in there, just in the top, because in the bottom we don't have any gaps. Let's just make something like this. I am so sorry guys about my English. My English is a little bit different. I'm a Mexican guy, but I've been speaking English since 15 years old, and I have some very fancy accent and I learned English in Canada, not in States. And some people tell me that my English is a little bit more different than other people. I'm not saying that I'm good in English. My English is a little bit standard, and but I already live in many countries. I live in Germany. I live in Japan. I live in some parts in Europe. I live in Canada. I live in the United States in the past. So I've been speaking English for a long time, and yeah, if you have any troubles understanding my English, I'm so sorry, guys. So let's just ungrab again. Let's just ungrab this guy, but we're gonna ungrab from here, just that piece. So we have something like this. This is really nice because we can just start just working with different sections. So we can just L click with these guys, and we're gonna be able, first of all, we're gonna regulate all the scales. Control A and Control P. Let's just back everything, something like this. So we're gonna have this shell and this shell. We're going to merge this guy with this guy. How are we gonna do that? So we're going to use the letter Alt V, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, let me see, because it's attached. Alt B, and you're gonna be able to see here a green, some green lines or green dots that match with the other one. So then you click enter, and they're gonna be 100%. We're gonna stitch those guys. We're gonna practically attach those guys each other. So let's just do the rest of the things. Let's just click, put your cursor in here, L, put your cursor in there, L, to select the island. This is pretty useful because many people goes manually, not me. And let's just click in here, do exactly the same for the other guy in here. Just click here, click here. How do I know, or how did I know where to merge? Is because, as you can see here, we have this trapezium in here. We have the biggest large piece in here that is connected with the other guy. So I go directly here, Alt B, and then click it, then select everything and see what we already have in here. So Control A, Control P, let's just pack, and then we have less islands to deal with it. So we can make something a little bit more different just to have a little bit more space. So if we have something like this, so we're gonna rotate these guys minus 90 degrees. We're gonna put it just in here. We're gonna click this one, positive 90 degrees. We're gonna put this guy in here. So we're gonna do exactly the same with these guys. Something like this, minus 90 degrees. And then we're gonna just start packing these guys. So let's just Control A, Control P, and then we have more resolution. So this is a way to use a little bit more resolution for your desk in the drawing area. So you already have this section, for example, the drawing section. So you have a lot of resolution, like 2.8K for this section, and then you have the bottom, and there you go. So let's just go for the other pieces. Let's just go in here. We're going for this. This is gonna be a little bit like piece of cake, but let's see how are we gonna do it. So in my case, for example, let's just zoom in there. So we have this support line and we have this support line. So let's just cut this guy. Let's just cut this guy, this guy. Let's just cut this, this guy. And I'm gonna explain you next why I am cutting all the faces in the XYZ in here. All right. Let's let me just go like this and just go to the bottom for the last one. let's just make the margin. So the reason because I'm cutting it here like this, that I want this separate section in the top, this one in the back, this one in the bottom, and this in the front, and these two sides is because when I start texturing this in Substance Painter or even in here or Mari or Photoshop, so I want to have everything in horizontals because I want to make a wood with a pathway that is going to flow in one direction. So that's the reason because I'm cutting it here. If I'm gonna show you another example that personally for me is not that is not correct, but you're gonna have so much trouble in there. So first of all, you can have this size attached to and this and open this like a cube. But what's the main problem in there? So you will have a texture that is not going to be able to have a flow way that needs to be followed by the texture. So we already have a vertical way path with this. So if you apply a wood texture that it flows in vertical, so all the lines that you need to take in mind is just clone and clean this size. But if you have like open like a box, so you need to manually texture some sections for the sides and for the top and the bottom. So what can we do with this in order just to have some more control? So let's just, for example, let's just attach these guys that they're gonna be like these guys. Let me just draw something pretty fast. So the UVs are gonna be follow like a roll in here, like a grab, but in 2D are gonna be not like this in individual pieces. So it's gonna be a big piece like this, divide by the different sections in the bottom, in the sides, blah blah blah. So this is gonna be more efficient. So let's just click one side in here and Alt B, click it in there. Then let's do again with this side. It doesn't work because it's red. Let's just go to this side and do it like this. Let's do the rest. Let's just click these guys in here. Let's just make these guys a little bit better, and let's just Alt B, and let's just ungrab these guys again. So we already have just only one strap of UV, one UV island in here. This is a little bit more efficient, so we can make the UVs straight, because as you can see here we have a different curvy flow in here. So let's just make it like I told you. Let's just change these guys. For example, this guy, let's just change this island to straighten UVs. Control A and Control P, and then just pack it just like this. It's because I already have my settings with active UDs. Let's just go to closer. Alright, it doesn't matter. So we have this, and this is gonna be less work to do with the UV shells in there. You can still attach these two sides in here in order just to have less islands, but I really would prefer to have these guys different, because sometimes you are gonna be able to see in those sides in your desktop for drawing. You're gonna be able to see some rough wood in there that is a little bit sand in there. So let's just continue with this, guys. Let's just see how the textures are behaving in here. So as you can see here, it's just working nice and dandy. As I told you before, don't worry about these lines because we need to subdivide this. And there you go. It's working really nice and dandy, guys. So we don't have any distortions in there, so we only have just the cuts, and that's it. So we only need to deal with the sides, and that's it, and the cut in the bottom 3. In the other way, you would deal with everything in a cross shape of UV island. So you need to go every border, every corner, just to clone stamp. So let's just continue, guys. And Let's just go for these guys in here. Let's just go for these guys. I think these guys are gonna be easy, the easy part in this tutorial, or this traveling here in this 3D travel. Let's just make a cut in there. We don't need anything else. We're gonna make a cut in there. Let's just mark the seam and ungrab. So we already have this, and we can make these guys straight in UVs, and there you go. As you can see here, we have nice and dandy UVs in here. Let's just reappear everything in here. Let's just go for this screw that is for adjusting the height of the desk. So as you can see here, it doesn't have any information in there, but we're gonna be able just to see things in here. So let's just mark a seam in here. Let me change the texture because sometimes this is a little bit annoying. Let's just mark seam in here. Let's do exactly the same in here. Just mark seam in here, mark seam in here, and then just do it. And then we're gonna put a mark seam in the bottom. So we're gonna make a mark seam in here across until the other side. Just click in here. I don't care about this guy, just this small guy. Oh my god, alright, this is what happened with the small pieces. Let's just mark the seam, and then we're gonna ungrab. So as you can see, we don't have anything. Let's just ungrab this guy and see what is gonna come with Santa. Okay, we have this. These guys are doing great. These guys are doing great, but not this guy. Let's just straighten UVs, and voila. Control A, Control P, pack it. There you go, baby. Let's see the textures, how the are behaving. So this is going really nice. There's some small distortions, but I really don't care because I'm gonna paint like some plastic or rubber in here, so it doesn't matter. These small, very small, tiny distortions. And as you can see here, the distortions with subdivisions are working really nice and dandy in every way. So as you can see, the unwrapping tools here in Blender are really novel, versatile. Many people is requesting to Blender Foundation to have icons for this, but I think that's not a good idea. It's my personal opinion, guys. Adding more graphics to the UI would make Blender heavier. If you already have a word or a sentence in there saying this, I don't know, straighten UVs, you already have the tool, guys. So we don't need to have any fancy icons in there. So we already have some sentence that they're describing the tool, but also we also have a lot of shortcuts that they're gonna make our lives easier. So let's just go back to business. So as you can see here, everything is just going nice and dandy. Let's just go for this guy in here. Let's just start working. This is not gonna be hard. The only thing that you need to take in mind is that it has a little bit more work than other pieces because it's a large piece, and we need to take in mind that we need to make a little bit more cuts. This is a bolt, so let's just make a cut in there because we're gonna separate the bolts in here because we're gonna apply a different PBR texture for these guys. So let's just make this. Let's just go for these guys. Let's just mark the seams. Let's just watch the other side. Yeah, we do have some stuff that we need to mark with the seams. Let's just see in the bottom. There you go. We don't have, and then I'm gonna tack this hole in here where is the bolt for adjusting the things in here. So let's just add a cut in there. Let's just add another cut in there. Let's just add another cut in there, and this one. Let's just mark the seams. and we're going to be able to mark the seams in here. Just go to the other side just to make sure that it's going to the other side. Exactly the same thing. So let's just go in here. I'm so sorry guys if you are able to hear a fan working in here. Is because it's really hot here in my city. I live in the north of Mexico, close to McAllen, Texas, and it's really hot. And I'm using two fans in my room, and I don't have AC. I'm so sorry, guys. It's because energy is too expensive here in Mexico. So let's just attack the rest of the things. So we also have this hole in here, but we already have prepared the model in here. So let's just make a cut. Let's just make another cut in here. So let's just see how the things are in this section. So we have the cuts. We will need to make a cut in here. We're gonna need to make a cut along this guy. Let's just go to the other side. For me, UVs are like a puzzle. I like puzzles. And for me, I know many people is gonna complain, is gonna say, oh no, UVs are from Satan. They're not relaxing, but for me it's relaxing because it's like making a puzzle, and for me it's fun. I don't have any complaints about that, man. So let's just make a cut in there. Just uncheck that guy. Just go to the other side. This is really nice. This is gonna work good. Let's just mark the seam. Let's just cut the other side too. Let's just uncheck this guy and the other side too. Mark the seam. Let's just go to the top and see. Yeah, we have one more in here. Let's just uncheck this guy. Let's go to the other side. Uncheck this guy. Let's just mark the seam, and then we're gonna just start going around because we need to split different shells. We need to split this side, we need to split this side with this curvature in two pieces, and this side because we're gonna have more control in the texturing process. So let's just go along. Let's just mark this seam and go along all of this way like this, because we model this stuff in a pretty nice and proper way, so the loops are helping so much for selecting. So let's just do this. Mark the seam for these two guys in the bottom, taking the advantage that we're already in here. Let's just click this guy, and don't worry about this guy because there's some problems with the camera. Don't worry about that. It's the clipping. The clipping has so much issues in Blender. It's a request that I want to send to Blender Foundation because they have so many problems with the clipping camera. Sometimes it causes a lot of confusion in the modeling process, in the pipeline process. But other than that, Blender is freaking awesome. I love Blender. I've been a Maya user since I was 14. I have several years, but I moved into Blender because for me, Blender is not about that it's open source. Blender is a tool that is made for artists that they already know what to do. Maya, you need to study it more than usual. To like Modo or 3 Studio Max, they're awesome tools. I don't have any regrets about that, but for me, Blender right now, in this moment, in this time, in this era, Blender has become personally one of the best, or the best 3D suite right now. Many people is gonna tell me a lot of arguments that yeah, but Blender doesn't support so many polygons. Let me correct you guys. I already been working in Blender with almost like 255 billion polygons in real time in a project before, so I don't have any complaints about that. And Blender is like a monster. It has sculpting tools, UV tools. It has a powerful render engines. It has many tools that are gonna help you to to make your personal projects. For example, you don't need to pay anything if you wanna compete in a film festival. So you can just start creating. You can edit your things. You can make 2D, 3D tracking, blah blah blah. So it's not about to be a fanboy. If I being hired by a company that only use 3 Studio Max, I don't have any trouble. I know how to use it because modeling is modeling here or in China, or UV map is UV map here in Mexico or in United States. It's exactly the same thing. The only thing that you need to get used to is about to find where are the tools, and that's it. Then you need to practice and give some time. I remember one person told me in the past that told me I have never had any problem with Maya, with learning with Maya, and I told him, "Are you sure or are you lying?" So you need to give some quality time. You have a learning curve with each software. Every new software that you're gonna learn, you need to spend some time, quality time. You're gonna have a lot of trouble learning even AI. I've been using also Comfy UI. I know how to use it pretty good, but most of the time I don't fight with the AI guys, and I take the advantage that I use AI and 3D at the same time. I combine them and I make a big boom. So I do quality things against stubborn things. So let's just ungrab this guy because it's already marked scenes. Let's just ungrab this guy and see what we have in here. So these are the results. Are really nice. We have this section that is all this way long, but we're gonna split this guy also in the top because it's too large, guys. So we need more resolution. So just split this guy, just click this island, and then just separate manually. Just move it, and then when you go back to select everything, everything is gonna be separate, as you can see. Let's just Control A, Control P, and then pack it. Then you're gonna have more resolution in here. Let's just make straight UVs with these guys. Let's just make straight UVs. Let's just make these guys straight UVs in a different way because these two islands, they have a hole. So let's just make it straighted with a straightened island. So we have this. So we can just have something like this, or we can just leave it like that. For example, in my personal opinion, I would do something different than use these guys. So what am I gonna do? So I'm gonna pin these two guys. I'm gonna click. Let me change if I can. Let's set the region here. Yeah, you're gonna be able to see what I'm clicking in here. So I'm gonna pin these guys, and then I'm gonna click leave and grab, and then I'm gonna click out align. Then I'm gonna do exactly the same for these guys, and then I'm gonna click straighten or out align. In my case, straighten to avoid distortions, or out align. Horizontal, it doesn't work because there's a loop in there. So let's just align this guy manually like this. So as you can see here, we have some distortions in here. So what we can do with this is, let me show you guys. Let me just show you what I'm gonna do. I will alt click and rip the pin section for these guys, and then I'm gonna just pin the guys that they are next to the border. I'm gonna pin it, and then I'm gonna out align, and then we don't have any distortions in here. We have a straight line in here. So we're gonna do exactly the same with this guy. We're gonna pin, and then we're gonna straighten, and then we have some straight lines. So this is much better. This is something that nobody's gonna show you at school. These are some tricks that I experimented in the past. I made a lot of experiments. So I always try to ask myself and say, what could happen if I just pin the guys next and what kind of distortions I'm gonna have. So let's just do it exactly the same, guys, with these guys. Let's just out align, select these guys, and then out align. So we have something like this. I would like to have more order in here, so we have something in order that this is like stand up. So I want to rotate 180 degrees, select everything with Control A, Control P, and then pack. So what do we have right now? So we have something like this. We have a nice and dandy propagations in here. So we have nice and dandy UVs. So for the rest of the sections, guys, I am practically I'm finished with this. So I'm gonna show you both of this. Why I am already practically finished, because as you can see here, this the desk is 100% is symmetrical. So the things that you did with one, you can do it in the other side. Sometimes some pieces can be mirror with the UVs, so let's just try it if this works. If it doesn't, I'm so sorry, let's just copy. So it doesn't work because we have negative values, so we need to do some different process, but it's exactly the same. Or you can kill this guy and then just mirror with the modifier like this, and then voila, you can replace the things, you can optimize your time in your schedule, in your delivers. So this is the result for the second part of the UVs in Blender 4.2. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and again, I'm so sorry if some of you doesn't understand me. My English is a little bit like different, it has some specific accent, it's not perfect. I try to practice every day, but I'm gonna try to do the best in the next tutorials. Thank you very much and have a pretty good night, guys. Have a good weekend.